I heard 40 was the new 20. That's kind of how Aaron Rodgers,
now he rapping.
Himself.
Now he Jay-Z.
Look, if you got bars, you got bars. James, you won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. He says 40 is the new 20. Aaron Rodgers has so much pressure on him. Maybe no more important conversation in sports than the one that we are about to have. So honored to have y'all here witnessing it. James, do you expect Rodgers to turn back the clock? Let's get into it.
Wait. Did you go to James because he's 40?
Could he play? Oh, I should have.
I'm always thinking.
He knows my...
You know what I'm saying?
You know old head. I know an old head when I see one.
So we can't
Sir James Jones.
Yeah.
Sir.
Because talking about 40-year-olds, we should have. See, I went to him because of Rodgers.
Oh, I thought because he's 40.
No, because he had a greater connection being 40 and on the other side of the. And because of the.
Well, he's 20. Well, he's 20.
And I can relate to that. So you got to come to me first because I know 40's not the new 20. You know what I mean? Because I don't wake up 20 no more. I know 40's a little different.
So, like, how's arthritis?
I don't know nothing about that, man. I'm still in real good shape. My knees is good. I don't got no arthritis.
How old are you?
None of that.
How are dentures?
How old are you?
33. I'm still,
take it out.
We still
you know, we still.
On
this side of the day.
On this side of the 30s. You know what I mean?
I'm talking about that side of the day.
We can't get to that club.
But on this side of the day, you know, I got to show ID still.
Hello.
I still got to show ID. So, Emmanuel, can I see some ID? Don't worry about it.
You'll go to the place and see no ID.
James, do you expect Rodgers to turn back the clock?
Turn back the clock. I expect Rodgers to play well. But to be honest with you, on this one, I'm with Joy. We gotta play.
You don't even know what I said yet.
No. I'm just saying what you always say about Aaron Rodgers. We gotta play the games, man.
Fair.
You know what I mean? The last time Aaron Rodgers stepped out there and he was fully healthy, and I know a lot of people want to talk about he had a thumb injury and all that the last time he was healthy. I know Aaron. A thumb injury is not gonna affect the way he played the last time he was fully healthy in the season when the Packers lost to the Detroit Lions. And he was not the Aaron Rodgers that I get up here and I argue for and battle for as being one of the greatest to ever play the game. Right now, I'm done with all the quotes. I'm done with reading it. I know Aaron Rodgers is special. He has special arm talent. But we got to play the games. And you got a really good test week 1 in the San Francisco 49ers in their defense. We need to see how Aaron Rodgers is going to look. We got 4 plays of him in a New York Jets uniform. We need to see how this thing's going to play out. So for me, listen, I hear you, Hackett. Aaron Rodgers is one of the main ones that got you there. Y'all have each other's back, but we got to play the games. You got to call the game the right way, and Aaron Rodgers got to go out here and play at a high level. So for me, I got to wait and see to these games.
Why do you expect him to turn back the clock? Obviously, you want to wait and see, but you're an analyst, so I need you to tell viewers what they may not know about Aaron Rodgers, because everybody going to wait and see, but you know best. You've been there. Why do you expect Rodgers to be able to turn back?
I expect him to do that because what Aaron Rodgers does great, you don't need to be super mobile. You don't need to be super athletic. Aaron Rodgers has a great arm. What Aaron Rodgers is special at is throwing his receivers open, putting the ball in spots only where his receivers can get it. Special arm talent. You can stand in the pocket for that and get the ball out there to Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson and hand the ball off to Breece Hall. So I expect him to play at a very high level because the arm talent ain't going nowhere. But with that being said, you got to play the games. You are 4 plays in the New York Jets uniform. The last time you were fully healthy, it wasn't your best season. So we don't know what Aaron Rodgers we are going to get. The game's got to get here, and Aaron Rodgers got to show me that he looked 20.
That's a very sober-minded take. Joy Taylor, ex-Aaron Rodgers, you expect him to turn back the clock?
Yeah, it was very reasonable out of you, James. And you were right. You do agree with me.
I don't seem surprised.
I mean, you know what? I think where he lost him was 40-20. Like, maybe 30, but 20 is a big jump. Like, we was all doing wild stuff when we was 20 that we weren't doing at 30.
He was wilding?
Okay. Okay.
You got to be for somebody.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was the only one. I was doing wild stuff at 20 that I am not doing at 37. Okay.
I think the world know who else was wilding up here too.
Okay, yeah, exactly. No, it was just me. It's fine. It's been 549 days. 18 months and 2 days since Aaron Rodgers played a full NFL game. In that game, 17 of 27, 205 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 83.1 passer rating. They lost the game that they needed to win to make the playoffs. So that particular game wasn't completely reflective of the entire season, but he didn't throw for more than 300 yards the last full season that we saw him play. And that was a long time ago that he's played an entire football game. Yes, we saw 4 plays from him. Let's be serious. He didn't play. He did not play. He hasn't played in that long, in an entire game. We don't know what he's going to look like. I expect him to be decent to good at some point in the season. Even if they start rusty, I wouldn't be surprised because it's been that long since he's played. And he wasn't playing at his best the last time we saw him. I'm with James. I agree. We need to see how these games go. I really wish they would stop with these quotes. Okay, he's 40 is a new 20. Okay, 20 is different. 20 is really, really, really young. 20 is you do whatever, you stay out all night, go to practice the next day, play ball out. You ain't doing that at any other age, okay? So, okay, of course, Shady don't know nothing about that. That was me. All I'm saying is I don't expect him to turn back the clock. I expect him to be decent to good at some point in the season, and I don't know when that will be.
I like these sober-minded takes. Crazy enough, I expect him to turn back the clock. I'll never forget, maybe the most powerful Rodgers quote I ever heard was after his 2019 season. James and viewers, y'all might be familiar with this. After his 2019 season, the Packers go on to draft Jordan Love. And what Aaron Rodgers said on the surface sounded crazy, but it was very accurate. He said, my worst season is as good as y'all's quarterback's best seasons. Aaron Rodgers was coming off of a 26 touchdown and 4 interception season. Then I went back and I did my Googles, and I saw that Dak Prescott got MVP votes the year he had 23 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. At the time in 2019, that was Dak Prescott's best season. Got MVP votes, the Cowboys were 13-3. Following that quote, Aaron Rodgers, his Packers were 13-3. He had 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and he was so bad that the Packers felt the need to replace him. He was so bad that he ended up winning 2 MVPs the next year and the year after that at 37 and 38 years of age. So I expect Rodgers to turn back the hand of time because when I think about freakazoid athletes, they just are different. I'll start with the man to my right. I'll sum up my take very quickly. I say this story all the time. It's not new to any of y'all, maybe to y'all. It was playing the Detroit Lions in 2014. It was a snow game. 8 inches of snow. We went into the locker room. There was supposed to be a small drizzle of snow. That's what they told us. We come out an hour and a half before the game as usual, and it is a blizzard. The entire NovaCare Lincoln Stadium is covered in snow. Everybody changing their cleats, changing their spikes, they putting in the detachable joints. And here goes Shady rushing for like $175, 2 tugs. We go on to beat the Detroit Lions. Different athletes are different. In every sport. LeBron James, he's different. Tom Brady, he's different. Allison Felix in track and field, getting an individual medal at 35 years of age, she's different. I expect Aaron Rodgers, who has always been built different, to play different because them different kind of dudes, like the person to my right, they just aren't like us. They're just different. 2-5, you expect them to turn back the clock.
I had 175 in third quarter. Just 200 some whole game. But that was a good take, though. But just don't short me, please. You know what? I don't expect him to turn the clock back around, right? But I don't care if he does because they don't need him to be that Aaron Rodgers. We don't need that Aaron Rodgers, the MVP Aaron. We don't need none of that. If you look at the Jets, how they're built right now, they have a solid offensive line, finally, solid defensive line, right? Solid secondary. Solid linebackers, right, for the most part. If you want to give Mosley, I'm just trying to, running game, solid running backs, right? Solid wide receivers.
Really good.
You have everything you need. So my thing is, we don't need him to be that Aaron Rodgers. I think he's gone, but if he comes back out of 17, 18 games, maybe 6 of them, I'm okay with that. 5 of them, I'm okay with that. I just need him to be efficient. Efficient, be a leader, and lead this team and don't mess it up, right? And it seems funny even saying don't mess up for Aaron Rodgers, but when I say mess up as far as like throwing the ball too much, thinking in my mind, okay, well, I have to throw the ball more because I'm Aaron Rodgers. Where it's okay, hey, look, man, I threw the ball 25 times a game, right? We ran the ball well, defense played well, we won the game. This is the first time in a long time that I think another team could win the AFC East other than the Bills, right? I thought it was Miami, but I said, nah, that's not what they do. They're a good team, but they're not going to ever beat the Bills and win that division. This year they had, 4 games ahead of them. They still couldn't win it. And now you look at the Bills, they're not the same team, right? This is the year where they can do it. So if you're asking me, does he have to turn back the hands of time? Nah, just be an efficient Aaron Rodgers and win these games and be a leader.
James, let me ask you this. Does Rodgers have the ability to do what it takes to win, even if what it takes means taking a back seat? My favorite attribute about Tom Brady, who I never played with, played against, and when I was in Philly, we practiced against them during training camp. It was the worst, but we did it nonetheless. What Brady would do is if Brady only had to throw the ball 17 times, he was humble enough to do so. Yep. If Brady had to throw the ball 50 times, he was arrogant enough to do so. Brady would do whatever it took to win. He put his ego aside and said, I might pass for $199 like he did, Shady, when y'all won the Super Bowl. $199, nothing extravagant. 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, I think no picks.
And
he
some of them were screens, too.
No doubt about it. It was not impressive, but he won a Super Bowl. Does Aaron Rodgers have the cognizance, if you will, to say, you know what? I don't have to throw for 40 touchdowns. I can only throw for 3,200 yards. You know him best. Does he have that ability?
Absolutely. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has been in meetings plenty of times to where he say, hey, man, this ain't a game for you, Jordy. this ain't a game for you, JJ. It's an Eddie Lacy game. We finna hand this thing off. I'm finna get into some good runs. We're gonna hand this ball off. We're gonna get into some good screens. We're gonna make sure Eddie Lacy gets this ball good 20 to 25 times this game. It ain't a game for you, and that's okay. But Aaron Rodgers is gonna do whatever it takes. Sometimes you're not throwing for 300 yards every game. You're not throwing the ball 31st time. They have Breece Hall. They have a really good defense. It's okay to run the ball and win the game in the fourth quarter and make plays while you can. Hey, at the end of the day, he has one Super Bowl ring. Whatever you got to do to get to another one.
Well said. And then I guess.
Can you say the last part one more time?
You have one Super Bowl ring. Whatever you got to do to get to another one. I didn't say out of nothing.
I don't know if I buy that they aren't going to need some MVP level Aaron. Not to get to where they say they want to go.
Certain games
we keep talking about Super Bowl and all that, which I don't know why the team hasn't been even to the playoffs since 2010. Super Bowl feels like a stretch completely. I think if they win a playoff game, I think if they make the playoffs, it's a success based off of the way that this team has performed year after year after year. He's not as good as he once was. Is he as good once as he ever was? Maybe. But I think they're going to need more than once. So when you talk about turning back the clock and you talk about he can check back into it, yes, if Aaron Rodgers ended up having an unbelievable MVP level season, would all of us be surprised? We might be a little bit because of his age, but he is Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
But MVP level Aaron Rodgers, like you talking about 2019. 2019 was 5 years ago. We want to chop two off for the pandemic, but like it was 5 years ago.
21 was his last MVP. 21.
Right, but when you were talking about when that started, when he had that down year and turned it around for those two MVP seasons, he wasn't like, this does matter. And he is coming off of an injury. Like, we keep acting like he's just like took some time off to go traveling in the mountains or something. He does like to do that, but he was offered an injury. Right? Like he's coming back from that as well. I'm just saying, it's not that I'm building up this doubt. I'm just saying when we start talking about he's going from 40 to 20 and he can have an MVP level season or maybe they don't need that. Like this is the AFC. There are a lot of talented teams. There's a lot of talented quarterback play. The Jets do not have any culture or anything to stand on to say that we're coming back like this or we're going to come out and do this. It's a lot of unknowns. I just think that if Aaron's going to have to step up, I feel like, a couple of big moments this year.
I just think for me, just watching the Jets, like they did last 2 years kind of battle to almost get into the playoffs with nothing at quarterback. Zach Wilson, Mike White, and all them guys. Like they actually battled to get there. And I think you add Aaron Rodgers, right, who's way, way better. But I just think about like all certain games where he's going to need to show Aaron Rodgers play, right? Running game not working, defense, maybe less scores happen, right? But overall, it's not going to happen a lot. I'll give you an example. Dak Prescott, right? He had a phenomenal year last year. But if you can recall, the first 3-4 games,
beat the Giants 40-0.
All defense, right? And it was a conservative, safe offense. I remember I kept asking James, well, James, your boy's so good. Why is they giving a conservative offense? Why? If you're not scared you're going to throw picks, why are you playing like that? You got Brandon Cooks, who's a 1,000-yard receiver on every team he plays on. He's a deep threat. Why are you not throwing the ball deep? And then at week 5, 6, 7, I see the playbook opening up. And then you start seeing Dak Prescott making these passes, these throws, and these yards. So that lets me know, okay, we can play within this system with Aaron Rodgers, right? Just let him get comfortable because he was hurt. I mean, you come off Achilles, that ain't easy. Get back to the flow of things. You ain't played football almost 2 years, right? You ain't been hit almost 2 years. Like, as running backs, we our receivers, you get the preseason, you getting hit, you getting touched. But if you don't do that, I remember when they stopped playing me in the preseason games, I hated it because I wasn't getting hit, I wasn't getting the flow of the game. So if you take that 2 years out the game, I'm going to be lost. So slowly getting back, implement it into the game, right? The game plan, getting hit and all that. And then eventually open the playbook, let him be Aaron Rodgers. But I just don't think you need to do that with the Jets because they have a solid roster.
They do, but we all know quarterbacks get paid the biggest money because they're the most important piece on a football team to win. It is going to be games this year, like Joy is saying, to where Aaron Rodgers is going to have to say, you know what? Defense ain't stopping Josh Allen, right? Might happen. Who knows? I have to go down here and deliver. It's going to become games if they make the playoffs. And when you get into the playoffs, the quarterback has to be the best player on the football field to win you those games. It's going to be games during the season where Aaron Rodgers is going to have to look like he's 20 to will his team to some victories. If not, they ain't going to go too far.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.